What's up, everybody? How we all doing today? It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood. Saturday night. Welcome to the Transformer Slag podcast live stream Saturday night hangout. I am Proto Man. I'm a little tired. Had a busy day today, but let's rock and roll. Let's talk robots. Let's look at the news. And I need a haircut like there is no tomorrow. So we'll jump into the news, we'll take some super chat questions, and we'll just relax for this evening yet again in the Transformer world. Today I am wearing the Symbiote Studios Snake Eyes with Timber shirt because they announced the G.I. Joe Timber Snake Eyes 2-pack, which is probably going to be impossible for me as a Canadian to get. But I figured I'd rock the shirt. It's topical to the news. So let's jump into some Transformer news, shall we? And man, do we got a lot of stuff this week. Let's do that. First up, we got Cyberverse Season 4 announcements. We finally have a date. Finally a date for Cyberverse Season 4. It's going to be a Netflix debut, not necessarily a Netflix exclusive, but it will debut on Netflix as a Netflix special, which will be available November 21st, 2021. It'll be two separate specials / TV movies, one of them called The Immobilizer, although it says the Immobilizer, but The Immobilizer. And the other one is going to be The Perfect Decepticon. The story, supposedly, from what I read, is The Immobilizer is about Cybertron being frozen in time, and The Perfect Decepticon is the return of Megatron X and his perfect Decepticon army, and it's going to involve, like we've all had rumored before, the Dinobots. So, pretty cool stuff. It is what it is, man. It is what it is, but man, oh man, it's good to see at least that we finally have a date. I mean, 2020 and 2021, for it being a dark time for Transformer fiction in general, outside of, let's say, comic books, it's just nice to at least to know that there's something still coming, at least that much. I mean, it's pretty brutal. So to get something at least in 2021, even then if it's in November near the end of the year, is better than nothing. It does show that Netflix has more stuff planned with Transformers. We do know there's a BotBot series coming that will be a Netflix exclusive initially. We, of course, have Kingdom that's going to be coming out in July of next month. So we have some stuff. Not a lot of stuff, but some stuff. So at least we know Netflix, Season 4, Cyberverse, we got something. And hopefully we have a proper conclusion. Because I like Cyberverse, but I don't know. They just haven't been treating it right. Let's get into some new toy news. A lot of people were hyped about this one. I know I was hyped about the one that everyone was less hype about. Let's talk about the Kingdom Battle Across Space, or is it Battle into Space? Battle Across Time. Man, all these names. The Amazon exclusive 2-pack of Deluxe G1 Earth Mode Sideswipe, and a interesting choice of trademark in a Deluxe Beast Wars Skywarp. Now, a lot of people wondering, why did they call it Skywarp? Why didn't they call it Silverbolt? Which is what the Western version of that character is. I think because this pretty much tells us that at some point Kingdom is going to give us our traditional Fusor Silverbolt. So to avoid pretty much a Kingdom confusion, I guess we'll call it, they want to just go with that Skywarp name. It's just the safer bet. And I'm cool with that. You know, that tells me a lot, at least. That tells me that at some point we will get Fusors because they're deciding to go with Skywarp with the trademark name for this character. Now, as it stands for how this is all working out, again, it's a slightly retooled Siege Sideswipe. People have been saying, oh, it's a retooled Sunstreaker. It's not, guys. They're both the same car, so they have similar aesthetics, but the engineering and tooling is completely different between those two molds. It's just they're both LP 500 Lamborghini Countaches from the 80s. So they're both going to have that same aesthetic look on the outside. But it is a brand new figure, and I mean, people are pretty peeved about this because They want their perfect sideswipe, and it's going to be an Amazon exclusive. It is still available on Amazon right now, so it isn't sold out yet. So at least there's nothing to worry about that. It is sold out on other venues, but at least the core place where it is available, which is Amazon.com, it's still there, so you could still get it. And I mean, the one that I'm surprised about a little bit, but even more excited, oddly enough, is that of Skywarp. I mean, they did a very good job. I mean, what could you really do with that Air Razor mold anyways? I mean, outside of like I don't know, transmetal colors or something. There's not much that you could have done with that Air Razor mold that could be like really a gotta get kind of thing. So to go the Magnaboss route and to go with the Japanese, naming conventions, sure, why not? I'm excited about it. I'm happy about it. I mean, my only complaint, honestly, about this set is the fact that there's no spoiler on Sideswipe. I mean, aside from that, I think it's all pretty awesome in a lot of ways. Although I will have a problem with the price. Now, supposedly, when I first did this announcement, they posted it on Amazon at a lower price. I believe I announced it at $42.99 or $43.99. And then a couple of hours later, Amazon had increased the price for this 2-pack to $52.99, which is that's pretty brutal in a lot of ways. So like, I mean, this is probably an indication of what's going to be happening in the future when it comes to our new price point for Transformers, because at $52.99, that comes to $26.50 a deluxe, which is pretty much a new precedent when it comes to what we're paying for deluxes individually. And Hasbro said they're going to be increasing the MSRP in the future. So I feel like within the next year or two, we might be talking about $30 deluxe Transformers in retail. I'm just calling it now. But pretty crazy. But I mean, the sad truth is that they're testing to see where the ceiling is here. That's what Hasbro does, is they charge more and they see if people buy. And if there's any indication here, bam. It isn't right now, but this was a couple days ago. The 2-pack was the #1 bestseller of the toys and games section of Amazon, which is a big deal. And when they did the 2-pack of the Grimlock and the Mirage, it was the same story, where it did extremely well and people were buying it in huge numbers. So if people are paying it and they're charging more, is Hasbro going to put the price down? Or are they going to keep the price and or put it up? It's pretty obvious at this point. So again, guys, it's not sold out yet, so if you haven't gotten it yet and you've been on the fence, I heavily suggest picking it up. I know it sounds like I'm pushing you guys to spend more money, but if you want to get these characters and you're on the fence on it, I'm telling you, that Sideswipe in the secondary market is going to be a headache. I just know it. Give it a year or two. This is going to be like the go-to Sideswipe for people of the retail kind of chain stuff outside of Masterpiece, of course, and he's going to be worth a lot of money. I'm just telling you this now. That's just my take. And it's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy, guys. So don't sleep on this. I'm telling you. Or if you're just someone like me that just wants the Skywarp, then hey, it all works out in the end. So either way. Let's talk about more Kingdom news. This one wasn't officially announced by Hasbro, but there was a leak online. And it is that of Kingdom Deluxe Class Road Rage. This image on the left here is from the Vietnam factories. Someone was able to get a copy of it. We knew that this was coming because of the JT Prime 17 Walmart leaks and UPC code leaks and stuff. So this is the final robot mode product off of the assembly line. You can see the gang molding compared to that of the Trax mold. So everything kind of lines up too. This isn't a Photoshop or anything. And what's more fascinating, if you look at the middle image that I post on the bottom there, the Road Rage head sculpt is actually a different head sculpt from the Trax one. So it's not just a straight up 1-for-1 repaint. Maybe there's more retools on this, but all I could really see from, I mean, I don't own the Trax mold yet because it's not really out yet. So I don't know. But I mean, from what I could see from stock photos, it looks like just the head sculpt has changed. Maybe there's other stuff. Maybe I'm missing something. Let me know. And the image on the top there is just a quickly photoshopped image I did to kind of give people an idea of what potentially the Corvette mode will look like. Looks really good. Looks really good otherwise. I really dig it. You get another Fembot. That's pretty cool too. The fact that it has a new head sculpt. And again, Road Rage was one of those characters that every iteration of her up to this point, up to before this came out, was always either difficult to get because of some way of an exclusive, or it was at a convention, or it was a giant ocean in between us. So like the first version was the eHobby exclusive. It was exclusive to a specific website, and it was available only in Japan unless you bought it through, obviously, distributors and stuff like that, and websites. Then you have the Masterpiece one. Same thing, Masterpiece exclusive, Japanese market. Not exactly an MSRP thing. Wasn't exactly in your Target or Walmart. You were able to get it, and it was selling cheap at one point, but it just was difficult to get. And then, of course, you even have the Shattered Glass Tracks, a.k.a. the Road Rage repaint from Bakon. Again, Bakon exclusive, only 2,800 units, difficult to get. So this might be the first time a mass release retail Road Rage will be available for the market. Let's hope this isn't some kind of exclusive somewhere. There's rumors that, it might be the other, Target Red Card exclusive. I hope that's not true, but we shall see what happens. I mean, I just hope that it's going to be available for everybody. Get more of those fembots out there, even if it has to be a repaint. Hell, they gave us a little bit of a retool. I appreciate that. Pretty cool stuff. And then we got another one that got announced just a couple of days ago, and that is of the Walgreens announcement. So first I want to just cover one thing. The image that is shown here is an image that was circulating around the net. This image is not what the Walgreens War for Cybertron Kingdom Earth Mode Red Alert looks like. It is a Photoshop. There's the smaller image on the bottom left there. Someone just Photoshopped the control art and the stock footage. It's not stock footage, stock image of the Kingdom one with the 2-pack. But we will say this. At least he gives you a general idea. Gives you a general idea of what it potentially could look like. So Walgreens, it was found in their computers that they will be having a exclusive of as they listed here, a Trans Generations War for Cybertron Kingdom Deluxe Red White Emergency Lamborghini. Pretty obvious who it's going to be there. They always have these kind of working names. That way it's not straight up said what it is, usually for trademark reasons and stuff like that. We have the product code. And you know what's interesting about this? The release date is going to be August 2021. So that means it's actually going to be coming out before people get the 2-pack with the Sideswipe, because the Sideswipe from Amazon is scheduled to come out in November of 2021. So very interesting that this is actually going to come out before Sideswipe. I think that's the first time ever in Transformers history that the Red Alert repaint came out before the Sideswipe base mold. Even though I think we were shown one before the other, but the release date is the other way around. I mean, I could be wrong there. Obviously, we can't say Armada because Red Alert was a different kind of character and stuff like that. But I mean, just in general, when we're talking, these twins, if you will, of this mold universe. And again, being typical Walgreens, it's going to be a solid case of 8, which usually deluxes come in cases of 8, but they're split 2 character per case, 4 characters each case. This case is going to be 8 figures in a case, but all of them are going to be the Red Alert, so that you probably won't have difficulty finding these. If you go to a Walgreens that probably buys 2 or 3 cases of this. And I mean, people were not happy about this news, but that's why I posted this on the bottom left here. This is Walgreens' jam. They've been doing this for the past couple of years now. Like every single series we've had up to this point, Walgreens have had some kind of exclusive that was some kind of set completer, at least in the case of the Prime Wars, not Prime Wars, the War for Cybertron trilogy. Because when you look at Earthrise the year before, we had the Deluxe Blue Streak using the Earth design. So that was the only way you could complete your Datsun brothers. If you're talking about something like, let's say, the Siege version, it was your Deluxe Ratchet. So that was the Cybertronian Ratchet. So it was the only way to complete your Ironhide Ratchet kind of crew there. And then when you look at Power of the Primes, they had that Wreck-Gar version, which at that time was a pretty cool Wreck-Gar toy. I mean, now it kind of is pointless. But it is what it is, like I always say, when it comes to better product coming out after a couple of years, and a trademark also. And then even with Titan's Return, I mean, look at both of those. You got the Brainstorm, so that was the only way you could complete your Headmasters. And then the only way at the time you could complete your Autobot Decepticon clones, Wingspan and Cloudraker, was through Titan's Returns through Walgreens. So they kind of always get these exclusives, and they find success. They've been doing it now for 4 years in a row with each of these series. Clearly there's some kind of demand. But yeah, either way, We got here, Stinkfist69 says, I bought the Walgreens Blue Streak, didn't realize I needed him until Proto talked about it. Well, again, the one good thing with Walgreens, though, is they usually, again, stock these in solid cases of 8. So they're usually not too difficult to get. Obviously, I get it, people. Some people live in communities and areas in the United States where there's 1 or 2 Walgreens and they get 1 case and that's it. And it becomes difficult because maybe they have a scalper in their area that just buys up all the product. But in general, I mean, it's usually been pretty easy. Look, I don't have Walgreens at all in here in Canada. I mean, what happens is usually Walgreens exclusives. What happens with them is they end up becoming EB Games exclusives over here. EB Games is our version of GameStop. So, I mean, that's probably how I'm going to see Red Alert. So, I mean, it's just a heads up. Keep that in mind, guys. So check out when August rolls around, head to your Walgreens. These guys are going to be popping up. And hopefully you get it before someone else does. Because people are already going to be struggling to get that sideswipe if they don't pick it up initially. So it's going to be kind of the same thing here when we're talking that of Red Alert. But yeah, just keep that in mind. And we're not done yet. We're not done yet with more leaked stuff. Let's talk about Studio Series 73 Leader Class Grindor. Now, this one, how did we find out about this one? Well, a guy who steals cases from the factories. If you look at his entire eBay account, it's nothing but advanced stolen product. I am surprised how he's able to get away with this. Someone's going to shut him down at some point. He got a whole bunch of these, judging by it. He had 8 for sale, so he probably has a couple cases of these because Leader Class are usually 2 per case, of Grindor and Ravage, the Leader Class, the new Studio Series that we still officially never knew about, but we had teases here and there from various Vietnam stolen product images, if you will. Now, this one here has been kind of controversial, primarily because it's very similar to that of the original Blackout Leader Class. I'll just pull up an image here just quickly just to show a side-by-side. The left is the Blackout, the right is the Grindor. Now, I mean, I did a segment about this. You guys could check it out in the archives. I did it just a couple days ago. I think I did it, was it yesterday or the day before that? I really go in deep about the history of these 2 characters and how they never really had a solid color scheme. You know, here's Blackout. He appears in nighttime scenes and daytime scenes, and then his toy kind of has its own kind of color scheme that they stuck with. And then his video game color scheme was different, so they didn't really have a solid color scheme that they wanted to go with. And then when Grindor came on the scene, Grindor was even more confusing because different supplemental material was calling him Blackout, and then when he was in the movie, he was never named. But then when the toy came out, they called it Grindor. It was complicated. It was complicated. And again, his colors, maybe he's white, maybe he's a light blue, maybe he's just Blackout. So it got complicated. Then, of course, different books came out, and then you look at the movie itself. Oh, well, Grindor is so much taller than Blackout and Megatron and Optimus. So why is he a Leader Class? Shouldn't he be a Supreme? People aren't happy about this because it's pretty much the same toy. Minor some from what we could see here. Let me just pull it up. We could. It looks like it has more rust on it. It's pretty much the same color scheme unless I'm not seeing something here. It has more rust on it. It's going to have more articulated hands. The hands are going to be more articulated on the Grindor version. And he's going to be coming with that little Ravage figure. So if that's a big deal to you too, if you want to get the Ravage over that of the Scorponok. I mean, I think the Scorponok's more iconic than Ravage. Ravage kind of got filleted. He was dealed out bad, unfortunately, in Revenge of the Fallen, but that's a whole other story. But either way, I mean, compare them. I mean, you make your call. If you haven't picked up Blackout yet, maybe this is good luck for you because now you could kind of pick up this one instead and it has more articulation and stuff. It's just my call. Again, maybe they're exactly the same and I'm missing something here, or I don't know. It's hard to say. One is obviously an in-hand image. The other one is the back of the box image. Obviously, one is going to be different than the other, different lighting, different situation. At some point, we're going to have side-by-side photos and we'll know for sure what the final product is going to look like. But we'll see. that's a whole other story. And that's it more or less for Transformer news this week. It was just a lot of like, hey, Hasbro didn't announce this. Hey, Hasbro didn't announce that. Hey, Hasbro didn't announce that either. So there's a lot of that going on. Typical Hasbro stuff. Hopefully we'll, I guess, get another Transformer Tuesday in 2 days from Hasbro, and they'll give us the skinny on that. But that's more or less this week for Transformers news. I'll just get into what I got in the P.O. box. We have the Transformer Slag P.O. box. I got some stuff in the mail. Supposedly a belated birthday gift or something. Shout out to Michael Koo. Sent me a nice little gift box in the mail with some Micromasters, because I love Micromasters. So he got the Siege set here of Road Handler and the DeLorean Swindler. I love that he was called Swindler. Anyone knows the history with DeLorean, DMC, and the Swindler that lived in that company. And then, of course, the Earthrise one we got here, too. We have some nice little Micromasters and Roller Force and Groundhog. And this one was really cool. And anyone that saw on my Instagram, I posted, he also included in the box a third-party set that is a good complement set for the Unicron from HasLab. It's called the Citizen Set and Trench Covers. And what it is essentially is, I mean, it has a whole bunch of like little figures that are very tiny of Optimus Prime and the Constructicons. They're all in robot mode. Pretty cool. And then you get them all again in vehicle mode. That's G2 Laser Rod Optimus Prime. So he has the tanker there, or Scourge for some people. And then you got all the Constructicons in vehicle mode, so pretty cool. And these are tiny. These are like that's my finger. Like you lose these. Super tiny, but they're great for Unicron and stuff, and considering what we're getting with that. And then what's even more cool, and this was the one that I posted on my Instagram and Twitter, is the combined mode, which is pretty cool. Check that out. You get a combined Devastator also. So really awesome, really cool. I dig these. Thank you, Michael, for sending these in the mail to the P.O. box. The Transformer Slag P.O. box, all the cool little gifts. Really awesome. I'm going to do more photo shoot of this probably this week. I'm going to send it down to the Instagram. Again, check out Instagram over here, over there, over here. Protoman Gaming's the Instagram account. Sign up for that if you haven't already. I post toys on that. And the last thing I got, and this is from my buddy also, this is from Pulse Dragon. He hooked me up. This is not Transformer related, but this was an EB Games exclusive, and I was trying to track it down. I love Shy Guy from Super Mario. I'm a big video game merchandise collector, and they had an exclusive, you get an exclusive orange Shy Guy with this EB Games Hot Wheels Mario Kart box set, so I was super hyped about that. He hooked me up with that one. Pretty cool. The orange Shy Guy. Apparently there's a light blue one that's in Target and Walmart. I have not found it in the wild. I am having a hell of a time trying to find it. But at least I got the harder orange one, I guess. But I haven't found the light blue one yet, and I have the red one. So hopefully I'll find the light blue one at some point. But again, thanks Pulse Dragon for the hookup. And that's more or less it. I didn't get much else. Just some stuff in the P.O. box, pretty much. So thanks everyone who sends stuff in the mail. So let's get into some super chat questions, and then we'll just relax for the rest of the evening. Yeah. Last week, man, like, we burnt through those 2 hours like nothing. It was pretty crazy. It was pretty crazy. And yeah, it was pretty nuts. Let's look at some of the YouTube members here. I thought so. Stinkfist69. I thought that the Revenge of the Fallen, that the Blackout didn't realize they copied him and renamed him Grindor. Well, see, the funny thing with that is there's a lot of different material. There was like the early scripts of the movie that didn't have Blackout at all. And then there was the novelization of Revenge of the Fallen, which called him like Grindor was called Blackout instead. And then there was like a kids junior novel. It was Blackout. And then there was this like book that talked about all the characters that were going to be in the movie called the Revenge of the Fallen Movie Universe book. They talk about Blackout. So for, from that perspective, you'd assume, oh, I guess it's just Blackout in a new color scheme or something. But what created that confusion was we had a Revenge of the Fallen toy called Grindor that was Blackout's mold. So that created that whole, well, who's this character? And combined with the fact that didn't Blackout die in the 2007 movie? Didn't, like the army take him out? So there was this huge confusion with that, and the movie video games didn't help with that either because they were flip flopping on it too. So, and you combine it with the fact that you have the whole issue, which is, he's supposed to be bigger. He's way bigger than Megatron and Optimus in that forest fight scene. So it's clearly not him. It's not Blackout. It's some new guy. I don't know. It's always been kind of bizarre, and that's why like I'm not too concerned about it. And it's sad because Studio Series supposedly is supposed to be about like scale and accuracy, but that's just one of those characters that are really bizarre. And don't even get into like the whole thing about like the alt modes. Supposedly they're two different helicopters. One's a what was it called there? A Stallion. The other one's called a Pave Low or something, or Pavlo. So it's crazy. It's crazy. But then again, it's the Michael Bay movies, so I'm not going to stress too much about Michael Bay movie stuff, let alone Studio Series Michael Bay movie stuff, let alone a character that appeared and died not too long after that. I just want to also give a shout out quickly to Symbiote Studios, who hooked us up with all our stuff. Again, the t-shirts, the pins, got Big Grim back there. Grimlock's chilling out. And then actually I got their Starscream too over here. Their beautiful Starscream, officially licensed. So be sure to check those out. They have their new wave of stuff. Their Starscream plush, $24.99, and their Grimlock, which, man, I'm seeing so many people buying that Grimlock. That Grimlock, I thought the Starscream was going to be the bestseller, but check them all out. They got their past wave 2 of everything going on. Really good stuff. And, of course, they got a certain dragon coming out of the water. Green with evil. That's the next plush of a next Hasbro brand. Be sure to keep a lookout for that. Get your dragon flute ready, let's put it this way. And also, if you read the comics recently, issue number 29 of Transformers Ongoing IDW, there was a nice little ad of Symbiote Studio stuff in there, so be sure to check that out too. Just wanted to just bring that up. Got to mention Symbiote Studios. They always hook us up with stuff, so they deserve it. They deserve it. Let's jump into a question here at random. Robert Rice, Proto Man, why didn't we have a Decepticon Elite Guard? Because that's not how the Decepticons function. Decepticons are supposed to represent like terrorists, if you will. They're a semi-unorganized organization. There's no kind of like political system. It's just one guy rules and they fight. So they just don't really have an elite guard. If they did have an elite guard, I mean, isn't it technically like Starscream and the Seekers? Aren't they supposed to be like Megatron's little crew? That's the kind of the way that I see it in a lot of ways. Is that it's like it's Megatron's crew of guys, maybe. And then of course, like the DJD in the Order Meets the Eye books, Decepticon Justice Division, maybe they're considered an elite guard in a sense. I mean, any other name would be no different. We got a question from our YouTube member here, Soup99. Do you still collect TMNT? I know you mentioned that you used to in one of your posts. Yes, I do, but I'm very picky now. I'm very picky about what I get when it comes to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I try to get like every single version of Slash. Like if they do a new Slash figure, and I know Super 7's going to do one sooner or later. I always get those. I always get those ones. They're really cool. They did the animated one there from NECA, so I picked that one up. I love that character, Slash. I get this and that now. Like the one that I wanted to get that I missed out on, and if anyone could find one, let me know. The Super Shredder from the Ninja Turtles Secret of the Ooze movie. I'd love to get that one. Again, was only available in Target, and no Target here, so I still love TMNT, but what I usually collect now with TMNT is I'm kind of going backwards. I'm collecting more of the vintage stuff. I love the Japanese vintage stuff. A lot of people don't pay attention to that, so I'm trying to get more of that stuff. I love TMNT. I grew up with it. I grew up with it right at that time when it took over the world, and it was like the most important thing to any like 7-year-old kid. And between like 1989 until like 1991, it was the most powerful brand in the world before like Power Rangers came around, I guess. So it's just, I can't deny. I have a beautiful, like, just like how I have these glass displays here that are like deep and everything with rolling doors. I have the exact same thing, just one, but top to bottom, deep shelving, all Ninja Turtles. all Ninja Turtle stuff. It's really cool. A lot of Japanese stuff in there, a lot of weird merchandising stuff and signed autographs and everything from actors. It's not in this room. It's in the other room. It's upstairs. So, but it's pretty tough. Yeah, Zero. If you could find, like, don't worry. I'm willing to make the pay for it. I'm trying to find Super Shredder. Like, I'd really love to get him. Like, it sucks because he came out and he went for sale on Amazon.com, sold out like that. And, again, as a Canadian, I have my options. There's very few. And then, like, I didn't want to buy from Big Bad Toy Store because shipping is going to be more than the figure. No offense to BBTS, but for a Canadian, forget about it. And I was just like, it's a Target exclusive. Maybe it'll show up in Walmart or EB Games. Like, some Canadian chain usually gets those exclusives. And I waited, and I waited, and I waited, and it didn't happen. And for people that don't know, like, literally on my desk, I just wanted to show you guys quickly, like, on my desk, I have Super Shredder over there. Like, I have my little, like, favorites. I have Slash, I got Crystar, I got Bret Hart, and then, of course, Proto Man, Hot Rod, Hot Rod, Hot Rod. So, like, I mean, Super Shredder is one of those designs that I absolutely love. And he's on my desk, like, literally he's on my desk. Like, this wasn't planned. You asked a Ninja Turtle question. There's 2 turtle toys right there on my tower, because I love those guys. I love those guys growing up. Super Shredder was one of these toys I'll never forget. I think it was like grade 1 for me. It shows how old I am. It was a grade 1, and some kid brought it to school, and I was like, what is that? Is that a Super Shredder toy? Because Super Shredder was like, oh my god, you saw him in the movie for like 5 seconds, and that was it. And it'd be years later before he'd be in the Turtles in Time video game. Love that design. Love that toy. You got me covered, brother. Okay, contact me on the Discord, Zero. Thank you so much. We'll talk later about that. Thank you, because I've been trying to find that stupid thing. And you know how NECA is, man. People just, they kill it. They kill it. Grumpy Goat wants to know with the super chat question. Thank you, Grumpy Goat, for the super chat. What do you think, or would you like to see the next Toyline gimmick be after Kingdom? P.S. Bumblebee's leader name should be Waspimus Prime. Well, actually, I have a theory. First, I want to cover the Wasp. I feel that when a Transformer character has Prime at the end, it's not because they're leader. It's because there's some kind of greater thing associated with it. When you think of the original 13, they were all Primes. When you think of Optimus Prime, well, we learned that he's actually genetically part of the original 13, the Arisen as he was called. So that's why Optimus Prime has the Prime. And then Rodimus Prime, the connection to Primus, the way he looks, he's the chosen one. So to me, Prime is something greater than leadership. It's a designation of a connection to something bigger within Transformers mythos, where, I mean, I could name tons of Transformer leaders that didn't have Prime. Ultra Magnus was leader, didn't have Prime. Fortress Maximus was leader, he wasn't a Prime. Jinrai was leader, or, Super Jinrai, whatever, was not a Prime. Then we get the Star Saber, who's freaking awesome, but not a Prime. Diatlas, I could go on and on. So to me, I think if Bumblebee was leader, he'd probably get a new name, but it wouldn't be a Prime thing. It'd be like when he became Goldbug. New body, new upgrade, Goldbug now. So going to the first part of your question, what do I think the next gimmick would be? I feel like, again, the rumor is, let's say well, I'll give what I would like to see, but the rumor is supposedly we're going back to combiners. I'm keep hearing this thing where we're going to be returning to combiners. It's been a good solid 5 years or so since a lot of those trademarks have been used. They were refreshed lightly, and now it's time to revisit those trademarks. And it's going to be starting with Menasor, from what I heard. We're going to be getting Menasor as our first big combiner. And it's going to be kind of us, like, how are they going to do combiners different this time around from everything that we got in Combiner Wars? They're going to be bigger. They're going to be, the individual pieces are going to just be larger. They're going to be larger price points. The commander class or a leader class is going to be the centerpiece. That's the rumor. Supposedly, Moto Master and Menasor is the first of that bunch. But we don't know yet. It's all rumors at this point. But, I mean, it kind of makes sense. Because when you think about, and I've said this before, when you think about a combiner team, That's 6 trademarks per team, obviously not counting Devastator, but 6 trademarks per team. The 5 members and the combined piece, that's all trademarks they got to refresh and use again. So Combiner Wars kind of makes sense. I mean, before Combiner Wars came out, and I always tell people this, like I feel like a broken record, but you got to remember, before we had Combiner Wars, we had Creo. And Creo, literally, before Combiner Wars came out, had an entire line called Creo Combiners, where they covered all the combiners to get all those trademarks. So there's that kind of logic that's going on, and I really feel that we're probably going to be having that again. I really do. I really, really, really do. That's probably going to be the next thing that we're going to see. What would I like to see, though? Honestly, I think the logical direction would be like the Unicron trilogy, starting with Armada and stuff. Like, it just makes sense because, 2022 is going to be the 20th anniversary of Armada. Chew on that for a second. Everyone's old. 20 years of Armada. So that'd be a really good celebration year. Kind of like how Beast Wars. Look, Kingdom is a Beast Wars celebration year. 35th anniversary of Beast Wars with Kingdom. So you could have a 20th anniversary with Armada. It would kind of make sense where that Armada Optimus Prime sculpt, we keep seeing it at all the different conventions in Japan where it's going. But at the same time, we'll see what happens. Again, the rumors, I don't take them too seriously. I acknowledge them to put a little, I call it a dog ear, just make a little note. Hey, this was said. We'll revisit it in the future. If we find out it was all bogus, then we at least know that source was bogus and, not to be taken seriously in the future. And that is that. Let's jump into another random question by the peeps. Although, let's see. Hold on. Okay, Stinkfist69 says you should get the Super 7 Ultimate TMNTs. I like them. They look really good. I'm not made of money, unfortunately. It's something that if I had, an unlimited amount of money, I would probably be buying those. In all honesty, I probably still want to buy. I want to buy the Raphael. If they do a Slash, I'm going to probably get that one. And maybe the April O'Neil or, one of the more oddball non-mutant characters like an April O'Neil or something. If they kind of do more of those, or a Shredder, I kind of maybe want to get 1 or 2 of those ones because they kind of are channeling the old toys but done in a classics kind of style like Transformers, or He-Man did something too, He-Man Classics. So I kind of like them, but I want to have a mixture. I want to have mutants and also some, but I don't want to buy all of them. And don't get me wrong, they look amazing. They are so tempting, and Super 7 does amazing work. But if I started collecting those, I'd have no money. I'd be so broke, like a joke. I'd be broke as a joke, man. I'd be broke. So, just collecting Transformers is already, expensive as it is. And then when you have my side hobbies with the video game merchandise stuff here and there, look, guys, look. This thing here, right? This thing here was, there you go, $35 for this little guy just to get this. Princess Peach, okay, yeah, Yoshi, Mario, sure. It gets pricey. So if I was made of money. We got another super chat question from Eastman777 talking about Ninja Turtles, and we have a guy named Eastman, creator of Ninja Turtles, perhaps. Hey, Proto. Number 1, would it be cool to have a full catalog including each toy again? Number 2, could the UFO identified by the U.S. Navy be a Transformer? Thank you. I miss catalogs. I miss that a lot, the whole cross-sell kind of thing. I think the reason why we don't have catalogs anymore is because the way that Transformer product is put out now is there's just too much. Because it used to be you used to be able to pick up, I wish I had a Beast Wars card. I have a Beast Wars carded figure back there. But it used to be back in the day, you'd be able to have the entire the entire year of product could be summed up in 40 figures. And you could kind of put 90% of that on the back of packaging. And that was easy to do. And in most cases, like G1 or G2, catalogs, unfoldable map catalogs, you could put all 40 figures on that. Now, because there's so much product, there's exclusives, they want to cross-sell everything, but it would be impossible. And I mean, look, we don't, how many times today now do we like buy product and they show the other product on the back. Never. You don't see that anymore. You used to at one point. They'd be like, hey, collect them all, and here's the other two. I mean, man, I wish I had some, like, really... all my like, see, I have Japanese stuff. They're good at that, but I don't want to use Japanese stuff as an example. I don't have a lot of carded stuff nearby. I mean, all the carded stuff is really old stuff, so it wouldn't matter, but... it gets to a point where it's like, I would love that to come back, but I think that number one, they don't want to do it because it's too confusing from their business standpoint because they have exclusives with other companies, and they don't want to, like, I guess, take the attention away from it. I mean, there's a lot of other reasons too, I would bet. And number two, I mean, in all honesty, I think it's just easier for them to sell you a book later that has all the toys in it, like, a Generations guidebook or something that's like a summary of everything that came out that year. And it just makes them more money that way, I miss it. I really do. But I feel that they just don't want to do it anymore. And there's too much. There's too much stuff. And your second question here is, could the UFO identified by the U.S. Navy be Transformers? I feel, honestly, if there was intelligent life, they would have to be mechanical, in my opinion. I don't think they would be bioorganisms, just because at least what we know of flesh and blood, the human body, and how much it could handle in terms of propulsion, and just the finite ability of stuff breaking down. I feel that any kind of intelligent life that could travel just even our solar system, unless they have some kind of propulsion that we're obviously not aware of, which of course could be the case, they'd have to be mechanical. They'd have to be something where to them, traveling 100 years through space to get somewhere doesn't really matter, because, when you think 100 years, they're like, oh my God, that's my lifetime. But to them, it's just like, okay, that's just what the trip is. It's kind of like how I look at, like, when I take a trip to TFCon and I drive, it's 6 hours. But to me, it's, some people be like, 6-hour drive. Oh my God. To me, it's just like, well, it's just what it is. So I think to them, they would have to be a mechanical species. Do they transform though? I don't know. Maybe. They'd be more like, I don't know. They'd be more like, I guess, like GoBots. Maybe they're biomechanical kind of stuff, like cyborgs. Who knows? But I've always felt they wouldn't be like, the typical gray alien kind of organic thing. I don't think they would be like that. Anyone who's, what was the name of that movie? Fire in the Sky? Not Fire in the, what was it called? Fire in the Sky? Firefly in the Sky? It was something like that. It was like this old 90s movie about a guy who was abducted. Someone knows what I'm talking about. And that was like when they showed the Greys, as they're called. Anyways, that's what I think. But thank you for the super chat question, Eastman. That's an interesting one. Stinkfist69 says, yeah, I'm going to eat a lot of money because all of those TMNT waves from Super 7. Well, supposedly also they reissued the first wave too. So anyone who missed out on the first wave stuff, like the original Turtles and everything, they'll get an opportunity, which is pretty cool. Because people scalp that stuff, man. Sells out. Second it sells out and it's like out of production, right away, like people start taking advantage of that. It's terrible. Terrible. Let's see. Let's go through the super chat here. I drove to Montreal once from the GTA. Took 9 hours. 9 hours? Wait a minute. Okay, you must have been like taking a lot of stops then or something, Ranji. Wow, 9 hours? Because like, see me, I'm in like West Montreal, and which is like 15 minutes away from downtown Montreal. And when we leave for TFCon, we leave in the morning. We usually leave around, I want to say like 7, 8 o'clock. And we take our time. We don't rush. And we get there in like 5-6 hours. Maybe because, Black Dragon, a.k.a. Larry, he's a quick driver. Pedal to the metal. But I don't know. Like, it doesn't take us too long. 5-6 hours is pretty standard in my opinion. And, when you take 1 or 2 trips and you have a bunch of buddies with you and some good music, the time passes quickly. That's how I've always felt. So not too much of a big deal. But man, 9 hours though. Oof. 9 hours, like I drove to, I think it was BotCon, Chicago. That was like 12 hours. And we took a stop halfway. We actually stopped and stayed in a hotel because no one should have to drive 12 hours. There we go. Fire in the Sky, the Travis Walton story. There you go. That movie's weird though. Like I'm telling you, like I saw it as a kid, and it kind of freaked me out because it's like there's that scene with the needle in the eye and everything. It's like, ugh, freaked me out, that movie. But I mean, as an adult, you watch it and you go like, I don't know. I don't know if this is real. I don't know if that, like, you know, I always try to be open-minded, and I'm just kind of going like, I don't know about that one. I don't know. Number one, I do believe there's something out there. It'd be foolish to believe that there is nothing out there. I mean, we look at stuff as far away as Mars, which is just right within spitting distance of our planet, and there's signs of organic life and ice and moisture. And you know, when you think about the finite amount of time of space that has existed for millions of years, how could you say there is no life? It's crazy, crazy. We got a super chat from Mikey. Mikey is awesome. Super chat from Mikey wants to know, hey Proto, if we're in charge of designing a unique Transformer character, what would it be? Oh, let's see this one. This would be a selfish one though, because if it has to be a pre-existing character, I would really love a new Nitro Convoy. I love Nitro Convoy. Good old, see, always gets in the way. Nitro Convoy there, aka Override. So I'd love to have like an updated Nitro Convoy toy, or Road King from Master Force, aka Slapdash, the Power Master. But failing those, original character, I'd love a cool red Formula One. I want like a red Formula One repaint. Like, I don't even want to repaint a Mirage. I want a cool original mold red Formula One, like a different character, a Formula One that's not Mirage. Just like how you can have Formula One that's not Mirage, and unfortunately it's drag strip, and they kind of repaint each other. But I would love that. I would love that completely to death. Nice one. Like they did a red Formula One. Actually, let me reach for it. One moment. Like, have it nearby still. They did a red Formula One rescue bot of Heatwave, so that was pretty cool. But I mean, it's a rescue bot, so how good could it be, really? But I mean, it's still cool, but it's a red Formula One. I mean, and Mirage had a red Formula One repaint in Diaclone. We had him have a cameo in the TFCon comic at my insistence. Don't ask what the name of the character is, because it's pretty self-serving. But yeah, I love a red Formula One car. I love Formula One Transformers. I think they're so cool. And I mean, what's interesting is within fiction, you know, like they don't recognize Formula Ones as the fastest cars in the world. Like Blur is faster than Mirage any day, but Mirage should be defeating everybody. There was the Transatlantic Express race season 2 episode with Augie Kane, and who won that? I think the person who won that was Blue Streak, who was like a Datsun Z non-rally type. And it's like, when you think about it, it's like Mirage should have smoked everybody. Either way. Thank you for the question. I hope that answers it. But I mean, it's a little selfish, that one, because it's stuff I would really like to see. Stinkfist69 with the gold super chat question. I noticed you had a Bret Hart figure. If you have an A&E channel, they're doing a 8-part documentary. Oh, Stinkfist69? Let me tell you something about it. So A&E is doing a documentary on my hero himself, Bret the Hitman Hart. This is the Hasbro one. That's why I keep that one there, because it's the Hasbro version from my childhood when Bret was the champ. And they're doing a documentary on Bret Hart this Sunday, talking about his whole life and everything. And what's really cool is if you go on A&E's Twitter account, they ask at one point, you probably have to scroll down a bit, they ask, I think it was like a couple days ago, what's your favorite Bret Hart quote? Click on that tweet that they did, because it's the thread on Twitter. Guess who's the #1 post on it? So let's just say I'm a bit of a Bret Hart mark. I'm a bit of a Bret Hart fan, a little bit. You'll see my love for the Hitman. But I'm going to watch it for sure tomorrow, 100%. It's been hockey and wrestling all this week. Let's put it this way. My home team, Montreal, has been doing very well in the playoffs in hockey too. So been very busy this week. But yeah, I'm going to catch it for sure, brother. I'm going to catch it for sure. I mean, is there going to be anything I probably don't already know in it? Probably not. Bret Hart wrote an amazing book called Hitman, My Life in Wrestling. Amazing book if you ever have a chance to read it. It's a very big book, but it just flies, I find. Like, you just burn through it. Hell, I even read his wife's book. I read all kinds of other books, too, with that family. So I don't know what's going to really be new about it. To me, it's more just, hey, I get to see newer footage and interviews of people that I obsessed over my whole life as a kid. So to see that Brett's still doing okay and healthy, and, you know, that's all I really care about. So it'll be cool to see. It'll be cool to see. But thanks for the question, man. Big Bret Hart fan. It's like, if you're Canadian, you got to be. And then Stinkfist says here, Fire in the Sky freaked me out when I watched it. I was young and heard it was based on a true story, and I didn't sleep well that night thinking I was going to get taken by aliens. Oh, how your mind works. Well, I'm telling you, I was the same thing. I think, when did that movie come out? What year was that? If it was, what was it? I feel like it was like 91, 92. I want to say. I could be wrong. Because I remember I was working at a video store as a kid under the table back in the day. And I used to make $5 a week, you know, like putting back the tapes and stuff. You know, that was my first job. And I remember that movie came out around that time. And because what's cool about when you work at a video store back in the day was movies would come out in theater. And then like literally a couple weeks later, the video store would get what are called demo cassettes, which were like the movie that's still in theater, but on cassette, and you could watch it at home. And he's not supposed to rent it out. It's more for the video store to like watch it and go, oh, that's a good movie. I'm going to buy multiple copies of this for the store. It was interesting. It was very interesting, but man, that movie freaked me out too. I remember watching it that one. Like, I think like I saw it once. I want to say, God, I think it was called The Movie Network, TMN or whatever. Like, it was like there was a channel called The Movie Network back in the day as a kid. I think that's when I first saw it, and it just freaked me out. It's like, oh man. And yeah, it was like supposedly based on a true story, so that's why I watched it, because I was like, okay, aliens, that's pretty cool. Let's see what this is about. And yeah, you know, if you're one of those guys that don't like a needle to the eye, it's gonna freak you out. It's gonna freak you out. Where is it? Hey, Proto, where'd you get that Autobot logo? Oh, where'd I get it? Well, this isn't even a plug. This is a legitimate question. Symbiote Studios. SymbioteStudios.com. It's in the link in the description below, guys. They have their Autobot pin sets. See, there's the Autobot one and the Decepticon one. You get a little cool little Optimus and Megatron doing the peace sign. So, and they're cool. Like, they're metal. They're really like high quality metal. They're licensed too. They're not like, you know, some bootleg or something. They're really cool. They shine. Look at that. That's so cool. And a lot of their older plushes too. Like if you look at the Optimus, the Bumblebee, the Soundwave, and the Megatron, under them there, those are all pins that come with the figure. So if you buy the Optimus, you get an Optimus pin. If you buy the Bumblebee, you get a Bumblebee pin. So they're really cool. Same thing with the G.I. Joe ones there, the Cobra Commander and the Snake Eyes. They're really cool. They're really cool. I dig their stuff. They do really cool stuff, and I love their pins. I love their pins. They've hooked me up with all the cool pins. I wear them at all the cons. Show my stripes. I'm an Autobot. Yeah, look how it shines, too. Ooh, it's beautiful. Where we at? I saw another question here. Take a random one. Let's go with, hey, Proto, what is the best Netflix War for Cybertron figure? Mine is the Sparkbot. Oh, up to this point? That's a tough one, guy. That's a tough one, because I really love those Micromasters and those Micromaster bases. So, I'm going to go with, I'm going to stick with the Micromaster bases because they made my top 10 last year. I'm going to go with Grease Pit, the Micromaster base, the modulator. Love that. But I mean, there's so many. There's so many great figures. I can't pick just one. We got a gold super chat from Axe to the Head. Axe to the Head wants to know what his gold super chat question. Hey, Proto, just a question from a newer fan. What was your fandom's initial reaction to Masterpiece Line MPO1 back in 2003? Did anyone think it was going to go on for so long? Actually, no, because it wasn't even called MPO1 initially when we were first shown it. I wish Aaron Archer was here because he worked on it too. And I think we talked about, we did a stream together once, and we talked about it, how the idea was like there was no plan for this to be an ongoing line. And I want to show you guys, let me show you something, because this is actually an interesting piece of information here too. So when Optimus was conceived, like that MPO1. It was supposed to be called 20th Anniversary Optimus Prime. That was the original idea, and it was pitched to, I want to pull out a few things here just to show you guys. It was pitched to Hasbro, Brian Goldner at the time, who was the CEO. I think he still is. And they were just pretty much saying, look, we want to make this product that is a, I need to get another trading card after. We want to make this collector product. We want to do something that's a little more big and pricey. Something that's like as tall as like a Barbie doll, so something in that 12-inch kind of thing. And sorry, I've got to grab a few things to show you guys just to give you perspective. And that's how 20th Anniversary Optimus Prime was created. They were just like, hey, we have this idea, and we want to see if we could create some kind of big product for the line. And to give a perspective, so here's like MP3, Masterpiece Starscream, right? This is his trading card, okay? Now see how it has the grid pattern and everything and the style? Here is a Binaltech trading card. So at the time, before Masterpiece existed, they were doing Binaltech, or guys, you guys can't see it, but alternators. They were working on that line. And the thought was that the alternator line will be this update. Keep in mind, alternators predates, classics, predates a lot of stuff. It was kind of our first version of classics in a lot of ways, was alternators. So alternators really was this first version of having like Masterpiece G1 kind of stuff. And when they made that MPO1 Optimus, the 20th Anniversary Optimus Prime, which I still have a mint in box for, I have a loose version obviously, but I have a mint in box one because it was such a big deal back then. It blew our mind. Like, oh my God, like it was going to be a one and done thing. We honestly thought, like, okay, they're just going to do the one for the 20th anniversary and that'll be that. And in all honesty, they thought it was going to be that because the Binaltech alternator stuff will be the supplement of it. All the other characters will come through this way. I mean, that's kind of a, it's a not bad Masterpiece tracks for its era in 2002, 2003. I mean, obviously it's yellow, but they did a blue repaint afterwards. But the point is that was the intent. And when you really look at Masterpiece in its early years, MPO1, Optimus. MPO2, repaint the Optimus because they weren't intending to do more. MP3, Starscream. They brought in a third-party guy, Kawimaru, the guy who did Macross, Shoji Kawimaru. I'm mispronouncing his name, I apologize. But the guy who did Macross, he designed that Starscream. So they actually brought in an outside guy to do the Starscream because the Masterpiece line was not a thing. MP4, Megatron, because you're going to do Megatron sooner or later. And that one was supposedly a stress to put together. That line was not supposed to get legs. So when we got that first one, it blew our minds at the time. And every person I know that was a collector at the time bought one or two, like for sure. Like, and then like even third party back then, they were making third party, like at least from Japan, third party wasn't widespread back then like it is today. They would make these third party trailers for Optimus. Then of course MP4 would have the trailer, but that's a whole other story. But it was crazy, man. It was crazy back then. I didn't think it was going to go on for so long, but any fan, obviously, after we saw that Optimus, were like, well, it'd be really cool if they did, and if they did, and if they did. And before you knew it, they took care of the beats. You got your Grimlock after that, and Starscream, and then, of course, all the Seeker Jets, and then MPO9 with Roddy, and then MP10 revisiting Optimus again. And now it's the gold standard of Transformers still to this day. Some of them are better than others. Some of them I think are like 10 out of 10s. Like Shockwave is incredible. Wheeljack is incredible. The Sideswipe mold is incredible. Starsaber is perfect. Soundwave is perfect. Like some of them are like perfect. Like I would not change a thing. Some of them could be better. The Hot Rod ones, they could be better. They're not terrible, but they could be better. The Starscreams, they could be better. Although the new one might be the best one, but we'll see. But man, it blew. Everyone I knew who was a Transformer fan locally or around the world went out of their way to get that. And I think at the time it was $69.99 American. I think that's how much it was. It wasn't that expensive. Imagine that big, heavy die-cast figure. It had light-up gimmick too for the chest. $69.99. Oh, how times have changed. Oh, how times have changed. Thank you for the gold super chat, my friend. Like that's quite a memory. Woo! We have 50 minutes left in the stream. Let's jump into the next one. We got a super chat from Joseph Ritter. You look like Don Johnson from Miami Vice tonight. Unfortunately, I'm not wearing shoes with no socks like Miami Vice would do back in the day. Looking good. Will we ever get an Earthrise Cosmos? I think for sure we're going to get a Cosmos because I'll tell you this right now. Within Hasbro's design team, they love Cosmos, and they constantly want to put a Cosmos figure in everything. The Titanium's line was supposed to have a Cosmos figure. The line got canceled before it happened. They were going to do Cosmos in a few other lines, and they just never got around to it. They love Cosmos, so I think we're going to see another Cosmos in the future. And hopefully, considering that Cosmos was a mini bot, and we're seeing mini bots now, they're being used as deluxes. So a deluxe-sized Cosmos, really cool. I'd dig that a lot. I liked how Cosmos was depicted in Cyberverse, and it's a shame that she, because it was a she in that version, didn't get a figure. I would have really dug that. So I'm sure something will come. When was the last Cosmos figure? That'll give you a really good idea if it's going to be an urgent thing or not, because that means a trademark's coming up. Gonna see a new Cosmos at some point. It's always how it is, yo. Always how it is. Zero says here, I still have the third-party trailer from MPO1. Feels like such a big deal back then. Yeah, well, because especially, I have a little, you guys can't see it, but I have like a DTOF in the center of the room, and it's all the very first third-party stuff of Transformers from like 1997 up until about, I want to say like 2005. Like before like Fans Project came on the scene and everything exploded in 2007 and beyond. So I have like, what do you call it? Like, oh my God, why am I blanking? The Binaltech, I think we call Binaltech armament kits, and they were Wonder Festival exclusives. I have the Golden Disc sets that were done by the Lucas brothers from Unicron.com. All those like early third-party stuff from back in the day, and that trailer was one of them, because how do you have an Optimus without his trailer? So early guys back in the day doing garage kits and injection molding and their stuff, they were making those old MPO1 trailers. And then MPO4 came out, I want to say MPO4 came out in 2005 or 2006, and then that started, the end of that, where we were going to get big, expensive Transformer product. And I think at the time, MPO4 was $250, I think, at the time. Today, oof, that's we wish masterpieces that size were $250. We wish. Where we at? Hey Proto, if a Beast Wars theme continues into next year, do you think they will go with Fusors and Transmetals? I think so, 100%. I think that the fact that I mentioned it just before, I don't know if you were here, but I think that the fact that they went with calling this character Skywarp instead of Silverbolt tells me that we're getting a Silverbolt. Because I think that they don't want to have that brand confusion where it's like, we're going to have Kingdom Silverbolt. And then, a couple months later, we're going to have another deluxe Kingdom Silverbolt. So by calling it Skywarp, that tells you two things. Number one, we're probably not going to get a deluxe Skywarp G1 in Kingdom. And number two, not to mention, or a Voyager, I guess, in this case. And number two, we're going to probably see a Fusor at some point. And the one good thing with some of those Fusors, not all of them, but some of them, is they do have built-in repaint potential. Again, specific, like you could do, and I would love it personally. You take Silverbolt, you give him his base color scheme, then he has, he's kind of hard to see, but this is the Universe 1.0 line. You give him his Universe color scheme, which was like the purpley colors, or you give him his Windrazor colors, which were a BotCon exclusive in '97. I would love that. That I would buy two of them, because I love Windrazor. That was one of the very first BotCon exclusives I ever got. I bought it on eBay, and I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. I still have it on the card back. I didn't have a loose one, still to this day. Oh, I love that figure. It looks so cool, those color scheme. But we shall see what happens. Let's see. Let's take another rando question. Let's pick one at random. Hey, Proto, do you think the reissue Studio Series Optimus Prime Bumblebee movie, like in the Buzzworthy Bumblebee line? I think the Buzzworthy Bumblebee line is the only way you're going to see reissues of stuff. I said in the past, like, anyone who didn't get the Netflix Bumblebee, right? That deluxe one that everyone wanted. If there is going to be a place where that's going to get reissued, it'll be in that line. Probably in better colors too. Maybe you guys are better off waiting for it. Who knows? But that's the whole point of that line in a lot of ways is take popular Bumblebee related product and kind of put it out there a second time. And I mean, it's good for Hasbro. They don't have to do any development. They don't have to do an R&D. They don't have to do anything. They just slap a different color scheme and put it out there. And the mold makes them more money, which is kind of the way to go, unfortunately. It's the best way to make money. Best way, faux show. Let's see. Let's go back in the questions here. Let's dig it all the way back. Let's dig it all the way back to the Jack. I think we will get a proper transforming knockout besides the RED one. I don't know about that one. I'll be honest with you. While Knockout was a really cool character in Transformers Prime, I really don't think they're going to probably revisit him and make a new toy yet. It would be cool. I do agree with you. But I think that Transformer Prime product, they want to get that show-accurate look like they did with RC. And I think that the RED line is a good place to do it. And not to mention that generation that grew up with it. They dig it. They're going to buy it. And not to mention, he's kind of a tough design. I'll be honest with you. Like, how his show model looks and how his car model looks, there's some cheating that went on with that robot mode. I mean, the same thing happened with RC. I mean, RC's design is not 100% transformable to be accurate by how her CG model is. But that's a whole other story. I mean, like Jack would be riding her somewhere, and then she'd transform and she'd be like this big compared to Jack, which would make no sense because she's a motorcycle. But that's a whole other story. Like mass shifting like crazy. But no, like Knockout is one of those tougher ones. Definitely for sure. Stinkfist69 says here, for anyone that doesn't know, Big Bad Toy Store has restocked their Refractor Reconnaissance 3-pack. Yeah, I saw that at regular retail MSRP too, so that's a good price. And who knows when they're going to do the camera bots again. I mean, that's already outdated tech. Like, when's the next time they're going to want to do that again? Like, I remember when I was working on the BotCon box set for 2016, like, and they had that little set there and they combined to make the camera. Like, that was a big deal. You know, it was like, oh wow, like they had to like really force that in there in a lot of ways. But now we have the Siege one. Who knows when we're going to get that on? That's another, I'll be honest with you, that's another figure that I feel is going to hold its value or increase in value in the long run. Because I don't see them doing many versions of that character like that. I feel that we will see the Refractor trademark again in the future, but it'll be handled in a different way. They'll do it as a singular character, or they'll do it that turns into a cell phone. They'll do something different. They won't do just something that's the traditional G1 camera thing. And I mean, I don't blame them. I don't blame them if they do that. Let's see what else. Let's see. Let me take a different kind of question. Pick a random one. Rando. How much time we got left? Oh, we still got 40 minutes left. We're not too bad. Someone said, Thrilling 30, Titans Returns Cosmos. Well, that was an amazing figure. That's kind of like my stand-in for Cyberverse Cosmos. They did two versions of that, too. They did they did one that came out, I believe, in Power of the Primes, and then one that came out in Titans Return. And the only difference between the two is one has like a different hue of green, and I think the Autobot logo's in a different place. Because I have both of them. Because I really love that mold, and I love that character. I love the mini-bots. The mini-bots were always really cool, and I feel that Maybe because I was a poor kid and they were more affordable. I kind of like were more drawn to those. But that's a different story. Proto, do you own any Z-Bots? Yes, I do. Funny story, and this is a true story. You always hear the story like, oh, my uncle worked for so-and-so company, and he would hear X and X news. So, true story, my uncle used to work for a distribution company that worked with Body L. Body L, at the time, before Hasbro, were the people behind Micro Machines. And so my uncle used to be able to get me all kinds of Micro Machine stuff during its heyday back in the day. I ended up with a bunch of Z-Bots as a result of it. He would get me those cool, I think there were 4-packs? 4-packs? I think there were 4-packs. I have the big purple vehicle, and then I have a whole bunch. I have like a Ziploc bag of them, like in a closet somewhere, of all my childhood Micro Machines. I loved Z-Bots. They were really cool. And I felt that one of the designs from them looks like Raiden from the Super Robot fame back in the day, the very first transforming Super Robot. So there's a lot of cool designs in Z-Bots. You know who's also a big Z-Bots fan? Josh Perez. Josh Perez from IDW Comics. There's a funny story. He was rooming with us one year, and we would go down to the dealer room before it would open up to the public, and we'd just check it out, and then we'd go back to the room. Because they'd start setting up at 7 a.m. They don't even open up the dealer room till 10. So we'd go down, we'd check it out, and then we'd go back up. And we're like, oh man, there's this one guy that was selling a whole bunch of Z-Bots, and Josh Perez just like slid out of his bed, went downstairs and bought them, didn't say anything. I don't know if Josh is here, but I remember it was such a silly story. But he's a big Z-Bots fan. He actually did some Z-Bots art too. He did like these lithographs and stuff. A lot of cool stuff. I love Z-Bots. Any robot stuff is always cool, especially for 90s robot stuff especially. Someone else here mentions, hey, Proto, have you ever seen the Iron Giant? Yes, I did. Another cool 90s robot. I had the VHS that came with the little figurine that came with it, and I don't know where that figurine is today. Got lost in the shuffle. It was a very fragile figure, too, I remember. It was just like a pack-in on the VHS, the big clamshell. Love that stuff. Love this. Iron Giant was a good movie. Very, what's the name? Not Steel Jig. Gigantor. Very Gigantor kind of thing. Giant Robo kind of flavor to it. Like a Western version of it, I guess is the best way to put it. Who's texting me now at this time? Anyways. Let's see here. Proto Silver wants to know, now that Ryu and Chun-Li have entered the Power Rangers fighting game and could use some Megazords for real Megazords as a help, do you think a combiner could fit well? Sure, with Street Fighter. I think they're going to have more. You know, it's funny, the Street Fighter brand recently by Capcom has been licensed out to everybody. It's pretty crazy. The past couple of months, I've seen Street Fighter be licensed out because I pay attention to licensing and stuff because I've done that with Hasbro in the past. And I do it with Symbiote over there. And it's crazy how the Street Fighter brand is all over the place, crossing over with so many different things. There's a new high-end clothing line and fighting like MMA fighting line of Street Fighter clothing where you could get like hand wraps with Ryu on it and stuff. It's pretty crazy. I forget what the name of the company is, but pretty cool stuff. Where we at? Let's see. Let's see here. Do you think there'll be other 86 Studio Series 86 lines in the future? Of course. That's printing money. Rule number 1 with Hasbro. Rule number 1. If it makes money, we will continue doing it until it does not make money anymore. That's how it works. Like, I love these guys, the Pretender Shells. They didn't make money. They stopped them. So they always stick to that. Whatever makes money, they stick to it hard. And Studio Series 86 has been a huge runaway success. No surprise. So we're going to see more of it, for sure. For a very long time, I'm telling you. In the same way that a Masterpiece Optimus Prime was a 20th anniversary celebration thing, and Studio Series 86 is a 35th anniversary celebration thing, it's going to be the same thing, man. I'm telling you, this thing is going to go on for years. Years and years. Where are we at? We have another good question I saw somewhere. Got lost in the shuffle. Got lost in the shuffle. Dear Proto, what is your favorite Beast Wars BotCon repaint? Ooh, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. That RC Black Arachnia is pretty awesome. I didn't think that would ever happen. And that same year also came out with that Tigatron from the Ravage X9. So that was a really tough mold to get in the West at the time. Those two are pretty much up there. Windrazor is another really good one. I'm just looking at them now. Pack Rat's okay, but it's the Rat Trap mold. I mean, it's cool, I guess, but I mean, there's so much better versions of Pack Rat now. Onyx Primal is pretty cool too, the black bat one. And that one you could get pretty cheap. I don't know what he goes for in the secondary market now, but I know that there's thousands of them out there. Like, and when I mean most BotCon exclusives, they make between 1,000 and 2,800 units. I think that Onyx Primal, I think there's like 5,000 in circulation because they did them for multiple conventions by Men in Black Productions. So, I mean, if you could get that one cheap, that's a really good one. That's a really good one. Someone's talking about the G.I. Joe stuff. Oh my God, it's crazy what's going on with Joe right now. You know what, guys? I was actually having this conversation not too long ago. I think it was with Joseph, and I was saying like how the problem is that what Hasbro's doing with G.I. Joe, it kind of makes sense though, in all honesty, because when you think about it, Hasbro in the past has made G.I. Joe product, and they would do them mass retail. Walmart, Target, at the time, Toys R Us when it was still around. You know, and they would, and what I mean is they would make product where there was millions of these units out there. And they'd put out millions, and only a chunk of it would sell, and the rest would sit around. By doing it with Target exclusive, Target is paying them to make these exclusives, and the exclusives sell out. They sell out instantly. So to their logic is, we can make 80,000 units, all of the United States, 80,000 units, meaning like 80,000 Scarlets, 80,000, you know, everything. And it sells out. Where if they made it 1 million units and they only sold 80,000, or let's say they sold 100,000. What are you going to do with the other 900,000 units? So the thing is they like it better where they do a short run and it sells out than doing a big run. Everyone's able to get everything. Everyone's happy, but now there's all this dead product and then retail hates it. So from Target's perspective, think about it. They love G.I. Joe. They do G.I. Joe. It sells extremely well. It sells out. Target wants more of it because there's limited units of it. So from their perspective, they love it. And they'll continue it forever, in my opinion. That's the problem, guys, that you have to understand with these exclusive things. It's not Hasbro's fault per se. It sells well. Like if for Walmart, for them to go, hey, we want an exclusive, and they pay Hasbro for that exclusive, and it sells well, they're going to do it again. And look, Walmart did it in the past. There was the like, let's talk like Armada, Energon, early 2000s. They did like the Battle in the Box 2-packs from Walmart. I think it was not even Walmart. Was it Kmart or Walmart? It was one or the other. And those didn't sell well. And so Walmart kind of stayed away from exclusives for a bit. So it's the same thing. If they keep making great exclusives and they keep selling out, they'll keep doing it, man. They'll keep doing it. And Hasbro's going to want to make good exclusives because when they pay that extra fee to have exclusivity for an exclusive, that's extra money in their pocket. That's extra money for their investors, for their quarterly earnings. And considering we live in a world today where the toy market is shrinking and shrinking and shrinking, and less children play with toys, and most children just play with their iPhones and stuff, if they could find a way to make a supplemental income in another area while the toy market and the unit sale market is shrinking, they're going to go with that. And that's a sad truth. That's just how it is, unfortunately, when it comes to the toy market. So G.I. Joe's in a tough place. It really is. I mean, that Baroness figure, I was lucky that I was able to get it but I know a lot of people were paying big money to get that Baroness. I had like 2 guys contact me going like, hey, if you see like this figure in Toys R Us, could you pick it up for me? And it's because right now it's ridiculous for them. People are scalping them like crazy. You know, it's tough. It really is. It really, really is. But I understand what Hasbro's doing because G.I. Joe is not a best-selling product. They need to kind of keep it backed up because they'll otherwise... Look, Transformers does well. Transformers has been a great selling product for them. G.I. Joe has not been doing well for them for the past 25 years. You know, no joke. Like, easily. Like, no one cared. Like, by the time Beast Wars rolled around, like, G.I. Joe was coming off of doing crossovers with Street Fighter and engineering toys for the Mortal Kombat line because they just weren't doing well as a G.I. Joe brand. I think they were coming off of Sergeant Savage and G.I. Joe Extreme, where they left the 3-inch and they went to the 6-inch action figure, and that didn't do well, and that bombed for them. It's tough. It really is. Really, really is. Let's see. What else? What else, guys? What else? Have I ever heard of Metabots? Of course. Of course I've heard of Metabots. I have a few Metabots figures in my manga room. And the Metabots TCG game from back in the day. I have a starter deck of Metabee. Cool line, cool line. The creators of Metabots were really big into the rap group Wu-Tang Clan. So if you look in the background of Metabots, you see the Wu-Tang logo like crazy. Little fun fact of Metabots. Hey, Proto, will you ever see non-movie MPs in retail? Probably not. And the main problem with that is that the masterpiece market is movie market is what is keeping it in American retail, primarily because of China. What's happening is China buys up all of the movie market stuff because they love that. So Hasbro could justify making more units of movie masterpieces because they know if it doesn't sell well in the Western market, China will pick up the tab because they love those Michael Bay movies. They have terrible taste, but they love those Michael Bay movies. Will Smith said it the best when Wild Wild West, the movie, came out. He's like, movie did terrible in North America, but China, because they have such bad taste in movies. He said this years ago. Now he probably changed his mind, but they have such bad taste in movies that Wild Wild West did so well over there. But yeah, it's primarily because of China. That's why, because they don't want to do masterpieces for the Western market because you have to make enough units to justify doing it. But because it's such an expensive product, it's like, do you, like, let's give an example, right? Like the recent masterpiece, Optimus, that just came out, you know? Can you see Hasbro justifying putting in, you know, making and putting in special Anglophone packaging of a $250 item in Target? Well, it actually would be $300, but nah, man, not going to happen. But they see that the Chinese market, you can make Anglophone packaging movie stuff, make it in large numbers, and you could ship it to 2 regions. And even if the other region doesn't do well, the West Coast region of United States, you could send it back to China, and it'll do just well because they got the money. They got the disposable income. Zero says here, I wish G.I. Joe went the Mega Bloks route. You know what's funny? Funny story with that. Jaws D on the podcast, he would buy Mega Bloks figures and make G.I. Joe characters out of them. I don't know if he's ever posted images of it, because yeah, he would use the Call of Duty stuff and everything. Call of Duty, I think he would use some of the Assassin's Creed stuff too, and he would make custom figures. He would do a very good job with them too. Very, very good job. Hey, Proto, why isn't Hasbro selling more accessory packs? Is it too niche? Because it's not worth it. Accessory packs, number one, are some of them come with small accessories that won't meet the standard of ages 3 and up because they could be choking hazards. So they have to be sold through Hasbro Pulse. And that's pretty much the short answer of that. And they just, they sell well, but they make small units of it. Like when the Centurion box set with the accessory pack came out, it sold out, but it also sold out because I think they maybe made 3,000 units, maybe 5,000 units, and people scalped the hell out of it. So that's a whole other story too. We got 25 minutes left in the stream. Where the super chat's at? What does it seem? Where are we at here? Where are we at? Hey, Proto, why isn't Hasbro... Okay, we already answered that one. That was by Remy. Remy asked that one. He's one of my new patrons. Hey, Proto, what's your opinion on the Blackout's design in general? I personally always thought his design was one of the good ones in Bayverse. Well, you know what? Like, when I first saw that design, like when I saw the very first mock-ups of it, I honestly thought he was going to be Soundwave. Like, he had, like, if you look at his old toy, like, if you look at his old Voyager toy especially, he has, like, something that almost looks like a, what's it called? Like a speaker behind his head. And then, he shoots out, a character, like a, in a way, kind of like a Soundwave character. I thought he was okay. I mean, of the original 2007 Decepticons, I really like Barricade. Just because I liked his design more. And also when I played the video games, he was voiced by Keith David, a.k.a. Goliath from Gargoyles. So I kind of was like, ooh, he's really cool. Cool voice, Hey, Bumblebee, what happened? Cat got your tongue? Oh, that's right. Megatron ripped it out. Like really cool scenes and stuff. Really dig it. Really, really dig it a lot. He was really cool. I also liked, what's his name? Bone Crusher. Mr. got killed in 5 seconds, but was featured in the trailers like crazy. When he finally got a Studio Series figure, I was so happy. Because he had, like, nothing for years. Like, he was just shafted. And it was sad because he was, like, so featured in those trailers. Like crazy. Like crazy. Where are we at? Let's take someone else's question. Where did you buy 10 Centurion? Someone said that? Oh, good Lord. Maybe that's why there's none left. Because people are buying 10 of them. 10 of them. Let's see. How about this one? What is your favorite Protect bot? Oh, that's... So my favorite of the Defensor team, well, number one, Defensor is probably my favorite of the original G1 combiners. He was the first G1 combiner I got, so I have a soft spot for him. But also looking back now, I like him a lot because he was probably the most unique. Because like when you look at the aerial bots, it's just like planes. When you look at the Constructicons, it's just construction vehicles. When you look at like Menasor, it's like it's a bunch of cars, and I love cars. Don't get me wrong, I'm a car guy, I'm a mechanic, but like it's just cars and a truck, But what was cool about Defensor, if you got him as a box set, you had like a fire truck, you got a motorcycle, you got a helicopter, you got a police car. Like I like that there was that variety, and the ambulance. So you had that variety. And as a kid, because I didn't have the more well-known characters, Streetwise was my Prowl. First Aid was my Red Alert. My Ratchet. Before I finally got Inferno, because I loved Inferno as a kid. Hotspot was my Inferno, so it was cool to have those versions of those characters. Probably my favorite of the bunch. That's a tough one. I never really had to decide. I probably would lean on Hotspot, just because I always felt he had a cool design and everything. Second place would probably have to go to Streetwise, just because there was a few really good comics that featured him and fleshed out his character a little bit, so I'll go with that. Dear Proto, how do you regularly talk to Derek J. Wyatt? Oh, I'll text him. I'll message him. That's if I want, I guess. He's available on Twitter for like, if you don't have access to him through direct social media as his friend, you could still contact him through Twitter, no? I don't know if he has Twitter. I haven't seen Derek on Twitter in years. So, but I'm pretty sure he's on Twitter. Should be one way to get them. Do you think the new Earthrise Kingdom show is technically a G1 show continuity similarity? It's G1 in flavor. I feel that, I mean, the way I look at like Earthrise and Siege, it's pretty much their take of the same G1 flavor. Just like what Dreamwave did with the comics, just like what IDW did with the comics. It's their own thing. It's their own take on it. It's not canon to anything that's previous. It's just kind of its own take. And dare I say, will probably be forgotten one day. Much like when they did the Go 90 network stuff with the Prime Wars trilogy, and they did those 3 miniseries, those were rough. Oof. When you bring back Judd Nelson for Hot Rod, and it's still not good, whew, that was rough, that one. That was really rough. Such a shame. There was no good voice director there. I hope the new series they will do is a Shattered Glass story. Oof, I don't know about that one. I mean, if they do Shattered Glass as a series, they would have to have Shattered Glass be very easily accessible in retail, because that would be a big mistake. If they would do a TV series and not have product that you could pick up at Walmart or Target, that would be tough. So if they do a Shattered Glass series, then they have to make the Shattered Glass line mass release. But unfortunately, that's not the case. So maybe in a couple of years. I always say, give it 5 years, they'll revisit it. That's the one thing with Transformers. Every 5 years, they revisit something. So nothing is forever. That's why it's like, oh man, I'm never going to be able to get that Sideswipe figure from Kingdom. Give it 5 years, they'll revisit it again. And it'll probably be better. Let's see. What do we got here? Waiting for Studio Trigger to do Transformers. I wish. Man, I wish. That would be cool, but you know what? The thing is that, like, I want Transformers in general to go back in the Japanese hands in terms of storytelling. Like, G1 was American writing with Korean animation, boom, up until 87. So you got a good 4 years of that. 88 to about 91, that was Japan with Headmasters, Master Force Victory Zone, manga stories. Japan had it for a couple of years too. Good 4 years or so. Then Canada. Canada had it with Beast Wars. Beast Wars, American writers, Canadian animators. Beast Wars, Beast Machines, good 5-6 years, a good 4 to 5 years right there. Then Japan got it back. Robots in the Skies, aka Car Robots, Unicron Trilogy, that whole thing. And that was, again, a good couple of years. And then when Animated came, and I'm not saying Animated sucks, I love Animated, it's definitely in my top 5, but when Animated got back Transformers, that was the end of everything, because then Prime and then Robots in the Skies 2.0, like, they never let go since. Movies, everything, comic books, it's all Japan. Everything Japan, it's all America, everything America. I'd like Japan to do the next Transformer series. I'd love to see anime again for Transformers. I'd love to see Japanese writing for Transformers. Let's push aside those American writers. You know, let's see what Japan could do. They know robots. They know storytelling with robots. I'd like to see what they do, because I like this. I like what they do with Gridman and new Dyna Gridman and all that. So I'd like to see what they would do. I really would. They've had their chance at bat for quite a few series. It's time to give Japan a chance again. They were carrying Transformers for many years. You know, time to do it again. Where are we at? Andy Davis says, picked up Siege, Hound, and Alicon for $7 each at Game Exchange. Well, that's not bad at all. Especially considering Hound could be better. I wouldn't pay full price for him, that's for sure. That's for sure. Considering what the original Hound toy in Universe 2.0 was a million times better, and you got a Ravage figure with it. But I ain't talking about how Transformers are terribly overpriced today. Terribly overpriced. So the new Stinkfist69 says, so the new series will be based on Combiner stories because you said that's where the toy line is heading. Well, that's assuming that whatever the next fiction will be based on the next toy line. We have the War for Cybertron trilogy. They decided to make Netflix series that parallel that toy line. Yes. Will they continue it? Probably, because Netflix made a lot of money from this. So we're probably going to see more of that. I mean, that's just a guess. But like I said, if it makes money, they're probably going to do it again. You know, Beast Machines didn't make money. There was a weird relationship with Hasbro. The toy sales didn't do well. Got cut. Next thing you know, we have car robots being imported as robots in the skies. That's just how it is. Imagine an Armada sequel done by Studio Trigger. Oh my God. That would be amazing. That would be absolutely amazing. And then bring Obari on to do the designs. Oh my God. That'd be incredible. But we don't deserve good things like that. We deserve terrible American writers, I guess. I don't know. No offense to some of the writers, but I mean, like, sometimes I wonder about how they handle Transformers. If it would be a Japanese series, it would be back to being a half-hour kind of program, not this 10-minute stupidity. You know, it wouldn't have to be cornered in a Netflix kind of thing where it's written for binging in 6 episodes. It would be a 26 to 52 episode series, fleshed out with toys planned out to come out with the show in synergy and combiners. Like there's a lot more toyetic planning with the Japanese, and they do such a good job with that. I've said it once and I've said it again. Trigger should do Kiss Players. I have no problem with that. I will say that with a straight face. If you could watch Panty and Stocking and have no problem with that with their Transformer episode, why is there no Kiss Players Transformers? I have both manga compilations. Sure, why not? It would be terrible. People would freak out. There'd be articles. There'd be like, you know, all kinds of like Kotaku articles complaining about it. You know, that Transformers, you know, Trigger is triggering the Transformer fandom or some kind of stupid stuff. But I'd love it. I'd love it because it would be so crazy and so outlandish and so different from what we've had up to this point that I rather 52 episodes of Kiss Play against any 6 episodes of what's going on with War for Cybertron right now with Netflix. Easily. Let's see. What about Toei Animation? The problem with Toei Animation, though, is it's flip-flop. Sometimes Toei does really good stuff. Sometimes Toei phones it in and it's their low-quality stuff. It really is all over the place. When Toei does movies, Fist of the North Star, 86 movie, a lot of those, they're amazing. They're really well done. But they know that they probably have a movie budget and stuff. But when they have to do like a 52 episode something or another, and Toei's done a lot of 52 episode series, growing up in Montreal, Quebec, a lot of those Toei cartoons that were 52 episodes were dubbed in French and put on TV here. A lot of those animes in the 80s, you see that the quality is not always the best. Not always the best, my friends. We have 13 minutes left in the stream. Oh man, we've been flying today. Woof. We have been flying today. Craziness. Where are we at? So many things. So many questions. Wouldn't it be awesome if Transformers was in the style of Dragon Ball? Well, in what way? As if it was a shonen fighting tournament anime? If it was done in Akira Toriyama style? Like, in what way? I love Dragon Ball, but I mean, I'm curious what you mean by that. In writing style, in the fact that Dragon Ball was 500 episodes, in what way? In that it's a fighting anime, where people charge for 3 episodes on Planet Namek. So transforming would be like 3 episodes. Devastator's transforming, and it's just the arm for 1 episode, it's the other arm for another episode. Next time on Transformers Z. Six episodes of 7-year-old seriousness level characters. Yeah. A fighting tournament Transformers. Well, we had an episode of that, though, in Energon or Superlink. Google Superlink episode 500. It was the 500th episode, the Superlink special, the Transformers combined tournament. I won't spoil who the winner was, but it was my boy. Let's put it this way. It's a really fun episode, too, with the two Neko Mimi girls. One of the good parts of Superlink. One of the good parts. Where we at here? Where we at? So many questions. Just scrolling up here. I'm trying to look through. Find some nice ones. Some unique stuff. So since we don't got any super chats at the moment. We got here, imagine if Transformers was done Tekkaman Blade style. Well, that would be Obari. Tekkaman Blade was Obari style. That, like, angular kind of thing, so. Oh, we got a super chat here from Mechatech73. Ba weep grana weep nini brong proto. Where did you get your Autobot Matrix necklace? Does it have an actual jewel in the center? So, this necklace was done by Stylin Online back in the day. I want to say 2002. They made them in both Autobot and Decepticon versions. What was cool about them is you could take it off, and it had a tab on it that you could put it in your G1 Optimus Prime's chest. And at the time, in 2001, 2002, we didn't really have many toys that had removable matrices, so let alone one that worked with a G1 Prime, the original toy, so that was a big deal. And what's cool is they also did this in purple as a Decepticon Matrix. Now, fun fact with this, they took this mold from Stylin Online and they released it in the Battle in Space 2-pack of Cyclonus versus Rodimus. If you actually buy that 2-pack, this mold is the Matrix. Actually, let me just grab it. I'll show you guys. Let me grab it and show you. Made me get up. So there it is. There it is. Same thing, even with the little hooks for you can make it a little necklace. So if you want this necklace, and this one's die cast. This one's not die cast. This one's plastic but painted. If you want the die cast one, Battle in Space, Cyclonus, Rodimus, 2-pack. I believe it was Reveal the Shield. Reveal the Shield was the series at the time. So if you want that, it's included. Then you just get a chain. Go to any, like, Walmart, get like a chain for like nothing, and you're good to go. And you're good to go. So hope that answers that. But yeah, it was a free little gift. You got a comic book, you got 2 great figures, and a little Matrix of Leadership made out of die-cast. Check it out, yo. I have a 2-pack. Didn't know that it was the same as that of the necklace. Awesome. Yep, exact same. And imagine this was third party, but then Stylin Online, which is owned by John Stylin, correct me, John Stylin. They made a deal. They got the mold. They did a cool little thing, and that was a little set. What was cool about that set is because it came in a nice comic, which was a unique comic book. Came with that unique mold. Came with those 2 little figures and really good repaints. It was a cheaper way to get Hot Rod at the time because his mold was going for big money back then. So, pretty cool stuff. We got 8 minutes left. Man, we are flying. If we got a new crossover Star Wars collaborative line, what would you like to see? Jedi Knight Luke. Why have they not done that? So they did Luke Skywalker many times, and Transformers love doing repaints. Jedi Knight Luke is a black repaint of Luke Skywalker. Take a Luke Skywalker, Tatooine, Bespin, whatever, paint it black. Give him a green lightsaber. It's a repaint there. So where's my Jedi Knight Luke? What does he transform into? Whatever. You want to do a X-Wing, you want to do, I don't know, a Y-Wing, you want to do something, that's up to you. You could decide that afterwards. but give me a Jedi Knight Luke. And have it that, like, when he transforms, it has the cloak. So it could have, like, the cloak and the hood and everything, you know. All of that stuff. Jabba, you will release Han Solo. That's what I want. I love Jedi Knight Luke, and I'm surprised in a world of repaints and black repaints that are Transformers, we didn't get a Jedi Knight Luke from all those Luke Skywalker Transformers. Never understood that. Very weird. Maybe because it was a different design team. I wish Aaron was here. He'd tell us, but they just didn't. They didn't do it, man. They just didn't do it. Let's see. Hey, Proto Man, is it true that there was a second Transformer Prime movie planned, or is that just a rumor? They knew when they were finishing the series, they wanted to just do one more thing, and at the time they had a deal with Target where they were doing the Beast Hunters line, which was exclusive to Target. So they did that made-for-TV movie, and that was it. They already had the plans for the sequel series of Robots in Disguise, so there was no point for another movie. No point for that. No point for that at all. Hey, Proto, what do you think it's going to be on Transformer Tuesday? Take your pick, brother. Is it going to be... No, not that one. It's going to be this one? Transformer Tuesday? No? Is it going to be this one? Transformer Tuesday? No? It's going to be this one for Transformer Tuesday? We have so many that have been revealed, but Hasbro hasn't given us any indication. Princeton Phalanx 59 says, just like hanging out with Proto Man makes me feel like I'm in Canada. How could I make it more Canadian? How could I make it more Canadian? What's Canadian around me, aside from my Bret Hart figure that's around me? What would make it more Canadian around here? What is Canadian around here? Everything's American stuff. My Canadian colored Ravage. Yeah. My red and white Ravage figure that I keep on my desk. What is Canadian? What's Canadian around here? Make it more Canadian for you guys. I wish I had some. Oh, here we go. No, wait, that's not Canadian. Banned cereal. American cereal. Oh, Count Chocula. Only available in the United States, not available in Canada because you are expensive. I go to the States to get illegal cereal. Nothing Canadian around me. I am a hoser. I don't know what to tell you, eh? I don't got a Canadian accent, eh? Makes me really bother me that I don't have that accent. You know, because then the stereotypes make no sense, eh? I don't know what to do, eh? Let's see. I'm going to find one more question, two more questions I think I could get in before we're done tonight. Let's get some two good questions in. Two really good questions. What could we do? What could we do? Are you excited for the trailer of Kingdom coming up? Well, excited? I just hope they don't mess it up. Let's put it that way. The trailer is going to show us the voices of some of our Beast characters. And Zero, I'll get to you in a second about the cereal. And the thing is like, I'm reminded, go on YouTube afterwards when you're done, look up Beast Wars PlayStation 1 game intro and the voice actors they got to play the Beast Wars characters in the PlayStation 1 game. Not the Transmetal game, the original Beast Wars game. I'm worried it's going to be that level. I am worried it's going to be that level. Burgers versus pizza, pizza 100%. I'll tell you a fun fact about that later. But yeah, I just hope it's not going to be trash. So to get to Zero, so in Canada, here's a fun fact. In Canada, let me just show you something. Okay, so in Canada, all cereals are supposed to have 9 grams of sugar or less. If they have more than 9 grams of sugar in Canada, they are considered junk food for cereal. And so Canadians should not be eating junk food for breakfast. So a lot of those chocolatey cereals that I love, Count Chocula, Cookie Crisp, Cocoa Pebbles, Corn Pops is completely different in Canada than it is in the United States. Google that. It is 2 different cereals completely. Corn Pops is a castrated Kix in Canada compared to what Corn Pops is in the United States. Even we get Lucky Charms, completely different cereal. It tastes the same. People think it looks the same. Nope. Our marshmallows have chlorophyll in it, which creates an artificial flavoring of sugar. And when you go to the bathroom, let's just say something looks emerald green in the toilet. It's very weird. Burgers versus pizza. Man, we're getting some weird questions before we're done here. Strange brew. Anyways, burgers versus pizza. I love pizza. I'm a pizza guy. During high school, I practically ate pizza every single day. Doesn't mean I don't love hamburgers. I love hamburgers too. I worked at Burger King for like 5-6 years. Although, oddly enough, when I worked at Burger King for 5-6 years, I didn't eat the burgers. I actually had the chicken sandwich. I like that more. And when I go to McDonald's, I get the chicken sandwich too. I like burgers, but pizza's my go-to. I love pizza. Pizza way more. I could eat pizza every day. I love pizza. Really? So here, Jeff says here, Canadian Corn Pops are so much better in my humble opinion. American Corn Pops are too sticky. Well, I've tried both. I wish I had this photo queued up. So many times I go to BotCon and I'd show like, oh, here's everything that I bought while I was at BotCon, and it would be like all my toys and cereal. And people would be like, why are you buying cereal? Because there's so many cereals I can't get here in Canada because they force us to eat healthy. It's just how it is. We have unhealthy food here too, but it starts with breakfast. They don't want kids having a bowl of sugar. So can anyone get some Canadian Lucky Charms? I want to test this. Brother, here's what's going to happen. You're going to have 2 bowls of it. Couple of hours later or whatever, or a day later, I don't know what your poop schedule is. You're going to go to the bathroom, you're going to look in the toilet, and you're going to be like, what the hell is going on? Because what happens is in order to make the marshmallows okay for the Canadian version, they put chlorophyll in them. Chlorophyll, for which you don't know, is what's in plants that make them green. Chlorophyll is also used as an artificial sweetener in a lot of things. But the problem is when it's used as an artificial sweetener, it's for like coffee. How much sugar do you put in your coffee? Well, that's it, right? If you eat a bowl of Lucky Charms, the marshmallows melt into the milk. You have like a ton of marshmallows, so you're eating a lot of artificial sweetener. It gets into your bio gut, and you're going to have a emerald green log, my son. It's going to look very Lucky Charms. So I don't know if you want to test that theory, but it is going to blow your mind. Let me put it that way. A lot of people don't know that. Had a pizza today, pepperoni. My go-to pizza is Meat Lovers, and I know this sounds crazy. Go out of your way if you could have. You won't believe this. I didn't believe it in the past either. Have a plain pizza, kosher plain pizza with kosher cheese. You pretty much find a kosher pizza place and have just plain cheese. Holy crap, is it amazing. I didn't think it would be so amazing. Kosher pizza is amazing too. But kosher pizza, when it has toppings on it, sucks. Because it's like now you can't have pepperoni because it has to be kosher, so it's not as good. But like if you have a plain kosher pizza, amazing. Oh man, you guys are making me hungry at like 10 o'clock at night. I'm going to have pizza. Woo! Woo, man. Oh man. Hey man, when you guys could cross the border again, you can come get our crappy Canadian cereal, but then you have to bring me some good American cereal. When I say it's banned, I mean like you could still cross the border with it. It's not a big deal, but the problem is that it's not legal to sell it here. Like you can't go to like a store and buy it. Papa John's or Domino's? I'd go with Domino's. I find Papa John's is kind of, I don't know, too greasy. Is it just me? But mind you, again, I get Meat Lovers, so maybe Papa John's, when they make Meat Lovers, it's pure oil. But like when I have like Meat Lovers from like let's say Domino's, Pizza Hut is greasy in general because of the way they prepare it. Or even like in Montreal, and New York is known for this too, because Montreal and New York were kind of sister cities in the United States to Canada. We have the bagel thing and everything. Like New York and Montreal, it's all about like the dirty slice, as we call it, which is like, some of the best pizza you could have in Montreal or in New York is just at like the non-franchise pizza places. Like, yeah, Domino's, Pizza Hut, all of those are great and everything. But like some of like just like your corner like mom and pop kind of place, sometimes they make some of the best pizza. And Montreal is known for that. New York is known for that. But I will say this, and some people will hate me for it. When we went to TFCon Chicago, like we've been to Chicago a few times, and TFCon BotCon Chicago, everyone was telling me you got to get a Chicago deep dish. I got a Chicago deep dish. I don't hate it, but I don't see the appeal either. Like, I feel like it's lasagna pizza. It's like when I ate it, I'm like, well, it's a lot of pizza. Like one slice and you'll be full. I'll give you that. But I don't see the like, oh my God, you got to have a Chicago deep dish. It's amazing. Like, I've been to other places. When I went to Philadelphia for one of the past conventions, they're like, oh, you got to have a Philly cheesesteak. Philly cheesesteak was amazing. I love that. But I don't know. Of all the franchises, that's a tough one though, because I like Little Caesars because it's so cheap. So you could get like you could literally get like 4 medium pizzas for like $20, which is great for when you want to have a party, you know. But at the same time, like I don't know, it's tough. It's tough. Like I like, again, I can't pick a franchise that's the best. But if I had to pick one for like just which one's the cheapest, I'll go with Little Caesars. But I like more of the independent places. They usually have like way better pizza. Way better. And we're over. We're over by 4 minutes. You got like food talk out of me, guys. Oof. Oof. Anyways, guys, once again, thanks everyone who came by for the stream. Thanks again for Symbiote Studios, who sponsors us, along with Hasbro, who sponsor everything that we do. Be sure to check out their stuff and everything that they do. Again, of course, their new Grimlock. Gotta get that Grim and the Starscream, and of course all their past stuff. Thanks everyone who's been supporting the podcast, my patrons, my YouTube members. Of course, anyone saw the YouTube members, they get their priority on their questions and stuff like that with the super chats.